Vivek Ramaswamy issued a statement 3 hours ago and just announced he's filed a lawsuit against the U.S. Department of Justice for failure to respond to his FOIA request to uncover what White House officials, including Joe Biden, communicated to Merrick Garland and Jack Smith about. Let me read it about the unprecedented indictment in the classified documents case of former U.S. President and one of Biden's political opponents in the 2024 presidential election. I'm also filing a separate FOIA request with the DOJ to uncover any similar communications relating to the just issued January 6 Trump indictment. We should demand accountability and transparency. In U.S. v. Alvarez, the Supreme Court held that political candidates have a First Amendment right to knowingly make inaccurate statements. If you're going to indict a former president and leading presidential candidate, it better not be based on unprecedented legal theory. Further, it's much more than a stretch to call something criminal if someone is seeking legal counsel from their own lawyers. Jack Smith has created a dangerous precedent by criminalizing the behavior of Trump's lawyers who offered him legal advice, labeling them co-conspirators instead. This jeopardizes the future of our legal system. If we fail to admit the truth, January 6th will just be a preview of far worse to come. We must reunite this country, but the path forward will not be easy. I want to play the video. I assume it's probably a different statement, but let's play it.
It's another sad moment in our country's history. The 45th president of the United States, Donald Trump, has yet again been indicted by the Biden DOJ, a political party in power that is now repeatedly using police force to indict and arrest and potentially eliminate its political opponents from competition. This is a politicized prosecution. It is a political persecution through prosecution, now in a third indictment just in a matter of months against the person who is still at present the lead contender in the Republican primary for U.S. president. I want to be very clear. I am running for U.S. president in that same Republican primary. It would be easier for me if Donald Trump were eliminated from competition. That's not how I want to win. This is not about politics to me. This is about first principles. We do not want to become a country where the party in power is able to use banana republic-like tactics to eliminate its political opponents. Yet I'm sad to say that's exactly where we are. The allegations in this indictment fall flat. It is wrong and incorrect and inaccurate to place blame for what happened on January 6th at the feet of Donald Trump. I said this at the time. I've said it ever since then. I continue to say it today. I would not have made the same judgments that Donald Trump did in how he handled that day. But that's different from saying that he committed a crime. He did not. He specifically told the protesters that day to behave peacefully. The First Amendment in this country gives political protesters the ability to express themselves and their opinions freely. Donald Trump was not responsible for what happened on January 6th. You want to know what was responsible? I said this in the days after January 6, 2021, just as I say it today. Systematic, pervasive censorship in this country. That was after a year where we had told people across this nation that you had to stay locked down in your house, in your basement, and shut up, sit down, do as you're told. If you question that, you're racist, you're anti-science, your social media accounts were silenced. You had to stay home and lock down unless you were part of BLM or Antifa, in which case it was perfectly fine to roam the streets of this country and burn many of them down. That was the double standard that then applied and said that if you said the virus originated in a lab in Wuhan, you were again a racist and had your internet accounts shut down. You were then told you had an election where you could express yourself to put the right person in charge of fixing these problems, and instead, your accounts were suppressed if you sent a mere message saying that the Hunter Biden laptop story from the New York Post was real. You had your accounts locked. Even the New York Post had its own account locked. And if you repeatedly then tell people they cannot speak, that is when they scream. If you repeatedly tell people they cannot scream, that is when they tear things down. And I think we are making a grave mistake in this country by trying to pin the blame for that at the feet of one man. If we refuse to learn our mistakes from our mistakes in the past, we are doomed to suffer an even worse fate in the future. I worry that will create a country where January 6, 2021 was a friendly parley compared to what's actually to come. I'm running for president to make sure we don't march towards some kind of national divorce. But the first and most important step that we as candidates can take in this race is to speak and speak forcefully on the side of principle, to say that even if we're competing against Donald Trump, as I am, I do not want to see him eliminated from competition using these politicized tactics. It is wrong for our country. It is wrong for our future. I call on my fellow candidates to condemn it, and I call on President Biden to do the right thing and drop these politicized charges. That's going to be a first step towards uniting our country.
So did Vivek just step into second place in the Republican primary?
Nice, dude. I hope so.
Holy smokes, that was really well done.
He did the exact same thing. I mean, not the exact same thing when the Mar-a-Lago raid happened. I mean, this guy is a winner right here. And where's Ron DeSantis' video? Where's that at? Where is him condemning this?
I mean,
it doesn't exist.
I'm not gonna, I'll try and avoid comparing him. Let's just that was a very, very well done video.
That's professional.
As far as I can tell, he's just talking to the camera. I don't think there's a script there. I mean,
I'm just looking at the whole production, and I'm like, this guy knows what he's doing.
Partway through, I was like, I got to see him and Obama get together and talk geopolitics, because this guy is the president. This is the guy.
He is the right-wing version of Obama, but I think he's actually genuine. I think that's the big difference. But the way that he is able to word things, it's a talent. I mean, he is very gifted. He's a businessman just like Trump is. He's an outsider, and I can see why people see him as a threat.
You know what else he is? His family is Indian. And I'm not big into identity politics, but you want to talk about an ally in the 21st century, it's India. It's the United States and India. If you're concerned about China,
Phil always gives me this look whenever
the Chinese and the Russians and communism, you want India. India is the final piece of the.
Bro.
If India sides with the Communist Party, Asia is a deafening roar. If India and the United States are allied, that could be one of the most powerful peace-bringing unions in the world.
Totally hear you. Trump had a meeting. Was it Modi at the time? Who was? And Trump, they love Trump, but Vivek's an American citizen who was born
his parents were born in India.
I know, but he was born here.
But that's what I said. Is his parents? He's got Indian heritage. His parents were from India, and I'm not into the identity stuff. A white guy from South Dakota could be a better Indian diplomat, than Vivek, but his parents are Indian.
I'll tell you why.
He's Hindu. Like, this is a good opportunity to bridge and blend some gaps.
I've had people say they don't trust him or whatever, but I'm like, the dude sat down in front of me and outright said he thinks there should be some kind of civic test for people to get the right to vote.
Amazing.
And I'm just like, I agree with you. We've talked about that on this show, but the idea that someone running for office would say something like that, that's like every advisor gonna be like, no, don't say that, because you're gonna lose voters in this demographic or that demographic. And he was like, he sits back and he's like, I don't know, they'll probably get mad at me for saying this, but we got to have some kind of test or qualifier for voting in this country. And
I
love the
fact that he's at least thinking about the ramifications of an ignorant population being manipulated by social media companies, corporations, the government itself, whatever. I love the fact that he's like, look, people are going to be manipulated to some degree, so we need to do what we can to make sure that the people that are voting actually care about voting. Because I truly believe that there are far more people that will get upset if you tell them that we're going to take away the right of your right to vote than will go out and vote. Right? Like, there are way more people that are like, I want the right, even though I have never and will never get my ass off the couch and go out and vote.
And the simple idea that anybody can vote is actually absurd. The fact that you don't have to take just a simple civics class so you can at least prove that you know the bare minimum about government and the people that you're voting in is insane to me.
I don't know how, so I'm not going to make a prescription as to the way to ensure that the people voting not only have a stake and have actual concern about the policies and stuff beyond just voting for to put their hands in the government's pockets. But the idea that you need to have some kind of qualification, or at least prove that you care about where the country's going, not just you care about being able to stick your hand into the government's coffers. I think that's something that's worth talking about.
Let's take a look at the betting odds here. It's from Real Clear Politics RCP betting average, and you can see Ramaswamy, since he entered, has just been climbing and climbing and climbing. He's currently at 14 cents in the prediction markets. Donald Trump has seen a major spike. But interestingly, when they started tracking this in January, Ron DeSantis was in the lead. That means if you were to have bought shares on the prediction market of Ron DeSantis in January, you'd have lost.
You're hurting.
We're talking 80% of your bet. Even Donald Trump improved.
Yeah.
But I think Ramaswamy, we've already seen him tie in some polls for second, and we've seen in the prediction markets he's tied for second. I think you give it a week, especially with this statement.
Yep.
Scott Adams just tweeted something like, "Is it just me, or did he do that without notes?" There was that one point where he accidentally forgot to say the word "from" and then quickly caught it. I noticed that, and I'm like, he doesn't have a script.
Yeah.
When I heard that, I'm like, there's no script there.
Well, you see how well spoken he is. A guy like this doesn't need a script.
Yeah, he said,
think
he said
you
if
do.
we don't learn our mistakes, if we don't learn from our past mistakes, so he misspoke the word.
Right. He forgot to say
Well,
from.
it makes you believe he's more genuine because he's not going off a script like every one of these other politicians.
Oh, he's so smart.
Unless
got a
he's
great
so
memory.
smart, he has a prompter, but
Yeah.
he intentionally flubbed to make
I
it
doubt
seem
it.
like
He talked to
Yo,
me
he's
like that.
37 years old.
Yeah, the guy's amazing, dude. He's got that. I don't know.
He's
Obama
a few months
flair.
older than me.
I almost want him to join the Uniparty just to get in, so that he can become the brilliant visionary and alterator that we need. But I don't want to see him get lost to the Uniparty. But that's what happens when you become president. You become the leader of the military-industrial complex, and he's willing. He knows he's going to get changed. He said that to you, Tim, on the culture war. He's like, I'm going to go in there. I'm going to be a different person after 8 years. I know I'm willing.
I was saying that I thought he could not win. Trump's the clear front runner. Trump will be the nominee. At this point, I'm thinking like Vivek has defended the right principles. He's defended Trump. He's spoken clearly and truthfully and honestly. He's addressed every question put before him. I'm extremely impressed with him, and I think he's in second place. Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.